All right, we do have breaking news. Presidential candidate Nikki Haley is on the radio right now as we speak, doing a sort of cleanup following questions last night at a rally in New Hampshire. She was asked last night, what was the cause of the Civil War? What was the Civil War about? I want you to listen to her answer from last night and note what it does not include, which is any mention of slavery. Listen.
What was the cause of the United States Civil War?
Well, don't come with an easy question or anything. I mean, I think the cause of the Civil War was basically how government was going to run, the freedoms and what people could and couldn't do.
And she did go on there, and there was no mention of the word slavery in her answer last night. Today, again, as we speak on the radio, was something a little different. Seeing as Jessica Dean here with us in studio now.
In the flesh.
What's Nikki Haley saying now?
Well, so I'm just getting this in right now because, as you mentioned, she is on the radio, but she's saying, of course, the Civil War was about slavery, but then she said this. She was talking about what it means today, and she says it's about freedom and individual rights. I think we have that sound, so I'm going to let you listen to it.
Well, two things on this, Jack. I mean, of course, the Civil War was about slavery. We know that. That's the easy part of it. What I was saying was, what does it mean to us today? What it means to us today is about freedom. That's what that was all about. It was about individual freedom. It was about economic freedom. It was about individual rights. Our goal is to make sure, no, we never go back to the stain of slavery, but what's the lesson in all of that?
Okay, so doing a bit of cleanup, she also, John, said it was definitely a Democratic plant who asked this question. The voter was a Democratic plant. She says, that's why I later asked, what does it mean to you? And if you listen to the longer extended clip of that, she says, you know, what do you think? And what do you want me to say about this? Or what do you want me to say about slavery? Our reporting from my colleague in our embed there, Ebony Davis, who was filing from there, said that the voter said that they had just looked at her previous comments on this when she was running for governor of South Carolina and wanted to see if she still said the same thing. He said it was roughly the same thing. He said he was not political, but that he just wanted an answer. The overarching fact here, though, is that this is what Nikki Haley is talking about today, when her campaign wants to be talking about a million other things, but Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis are more than happy for her to be dealing with this.
Well, look, I mean, I've covered a lot of campaigns before. The speed with which she came forward now with this clarification or cleanup or whatever you want to call it, it tells you how serious the campaign thinks it is. They can't leave this out there. They decided they had to get her on the radio talking about it.
Right, immediately. And so now we have this clip. I would imagine we're going to have a clip of her on television as soon as she starts making the rounds that she will talk to the cameras. But it's worth noting, she doesn't do a ton of what we call gaggles, but just when you're on the road and the candidates will just talk to the press. So it will be interesting to see, too. Watch for that if she does that today.
Jessica Dean, great to have you again here
Thanks.
with us.
I'm thrilled.
Very excited.
Couldn't be happier.
You know who's also here with us? John Berman. It's nice to see you, John.
It was
I'm
like
glad you
I
decided to come
took a
back.
week off.
I mean, it was too long. You know what I'm saying? It was too long. That's it. That's all I'm saying. I mean, all the bosses agree. Joining us now to discuss all of this in John Berman's absence, CNN political commentator and former South Carolina State Representative Bakari Sellers, and CNN senior political commentator and former special assistant to President George W. Bush, Scott Jennings. Hello, fellas. I'm going to start with you.
Morning.
Bakari, because you are a South Carolina boy. What happened here? One of the things that really struck me wasn't just that she didn't mention it, but at the end, when the voter asked her, you know, this question, and then she said, well, what do you think slavery, or what do you think this was all about? And he said, well, I'm surprised you didn't mention the word slavery. And she said this, what do you want me to say about slavery? Bakari?
Yeah, no, I'm embarrassed as a South Carolinian. I think that this is when Nikki Haley gets in trouble, and everybody who knows Nikki Haley knows that she's immensely talented when it comes to just the skill set of politics. However, she gets into this thing where she doesn't really stand for much, and she turns herself into a pretzel on very, very simple issues, simple questions. And the fact remains that she's from South Carolina. We know that when we seceded from the Union, the first line of that order of secession actually dealt with non-slave holding states having hostility towards slavery. I mean, this is like, this also frustrates me because we take history out of schools. We have probably the second or third leading candidate for the Republican primary. And this shows you the importance of history because she just fumbled it. Not only did she fumble it, but she was historically inaccurate. She was intellectually dishonest. And so for Nikki Haley to do that on one breath and then champion taking down the Confederate flag and all of these other things in South Carolina, it doesn't really match. She needs to get her story together. And her response this morning was just utterly disappointing. This wasn't a war about economic freedom. The economic freedom of what? The goods produced by slavery. This war wasn't about states' rights. A state's right to do what? Enslave people. I mean, so it's silly. I know she wishes she was talking about something else, but this is why she's not ready for the big limelight against somebody like Donald Trump.
Scott, I want to get your take on this because sometimes people will look at this and say, well, she's trying to kind of not say a bad thing about America and play to the base. Is that what you see happening here?
I think it was just a gaffe. I mean, I think if she had it to do over again, she would have said, of course, it was fought over slavery and moved on and continue to talk about the things that are motivating her campaign. A couple of things jump out to me about this. Number one, in New Hampshire, there's a semi-open primary, so she's really hoping a lot of independent voters come into the Republican primary and vote for her. My guess is this is not what they want to hear from her. And number two, just as a campaign tactical issue, this takes you off message and off cycle now for, probably a couple of days as she tries to clean this up. And she had been enjoying several days in a row of sort of momentum process stories, like she's the one on the move. She's got the momentum. People are rallying behind Nikki Haley, poll numbers going up. And now you're dealing with this self-inflicted wound here from this gaffe at this town hall. So it was an easy one to answer. She flubbed it. It's also an easy one to clean up and just say, I misspoke. This was obviously slavery was the cause of the Civil War, and I want to talk about the future of this country, et cetera. And so we'll see how she handles it today moving forward. But you don't have that much time left to continue to, to be off the message you want for a campaign that's drawing to a close.
And I just want to point this out because back in 2015, there was also an issue in this same line of questioning. I want to let you listen to what she said back then because it does mirror kind of how she dealt with this question, which makes me wonder if it was a flub or just trying to figure out, as Bakari said, putting herself in a pretzel, trying not to say something that might upset the base voters. Listen.
A flag is living and breathing, and so it represents something. I think it should be in any museum setting. I think it should be at Fort Sumter. I think it should be in those places of historical settings, not in places that represent all people. If someone wants to travel to see it, that's one thing, but it shouldn't be in front of someone's face to where they have to feel it.
So that's when she took the Confederate flag down after the horrific church shooting that killed so many Black Americans there in South Carolina. Is this something that you think that the other candidates like DeSantis potentially or Ramaswamy or Donald Trump, will someone pick this up and go with it, or are they just going to stand back and let her deal?
Well, my assumption is they're just going to try to let her deal with this. I don't know what Bakari thinks, but as a campaign matter, if I were in their shoes, Bakari, I would just let her try to deal with it. There's no reason to pile on today. She's made a big mess. It's hard to make it any worse.
Yeah, there are a couple of things about Nikki Haley, though. You go back to 2010 when she was running for governor and she was sitting down with, I can't recall the organization, but it was a Patriot organization or a Confederacy organization here. And she was having issues with this question as well, trying to appease the questioners. And so you see what happened in 2015 as well. And then you get to this answer. You see she kind of meanders and doesn't really have a solid answer depending on who the audience is. But if I was DeSantis listening to Scott Jennings today, I would definitely just let her continue to wallow in this kind of self-inflicted wound that she created. Ramaswamy, he can only make it worse for himself and her. I don't think he has the capacity or depth to even deal with issues of race. And so I think that the individuals who, and no telling what Donald Trump will do, you should stay out of it, which means Donald Trump probably will jump headfirst into it.
Bakari Sellers and Scott Jennings. Scott's like, I'm done. Like, I can't go there today. It's Thursday. We're almost at Friday. I just want to live my life. Thank you, gentlemen, so much for that analysis. Appreciate it.